San Francisco Zoo is dealing with a tough loss this week. Gene, the zoo's 24-year-old black rhino, passed away due to kidney failure. The black rhino is already on the critically endangered species list, and the situation could become worse very soon. David Boshin from the San Francisco Zoo joining me tonight to talk about where you can still see a black rhino in the Bay Area, and of course a look at the worldwide poaching that's going on and threatens. And thank you so much for coming by.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Our condolences on the loss of Gene to start with. 24 years old. Was that a pretty good lifespan, especially considering one in captivity?
It's a good lifespan. We have other animals that live longer. We have another individual that is actually much older than he is, but it's about a median age for a male to die.
So are you going to get another one? Is this something, especially considering their situation, I was wondering if you're able to get another one, if it helps protect them in the sense if there was one that was in a situation where it would be better in the zoo and not in the wild. Do you plan on getting another one or not?
We do intend to get another. There's a captive population. When we receive another animal, it will be a captive-born animal. It would not come from the wild.
Right.
Very few rhinos are from the wild anymore. Indeed, our female black rhino is the last wild-born animal in North America. So and she's 40 years old. You can still see them in the San Francisco Zoo? Are there other places, Oakland Zoo? I'm not sure. San Francisco Zoo is the only facility in the Bay Area that has black rhinos. We also have Asian one-horn rhinos. So you would have to come to San Francisco Zoo to see a black rhino.
Any word on when you might get another one, how that process takes place?
Well, the process is there's an organized group that manages this species. We've contacted them about our recent situation and are working with them to receive another animal.
So let's talk a little bit about their situation in the wild in particular. How desperate is their situation, and what is really contributing mostly to their demise, would you say?
Well, rhino poaching in South Africa has reached an alarming rate, and to the rate where there were 400 animals poached last year. That's more than one a day. Now there's two species in South Africa, in Southern Africa I should say, black rhinos and white rhinos. Black rhinos are the most endangered. There's only about 2,400 individuals. That's not many individuals. That's the number of people that would fit in a small concert hall. That's all there are left in the world. So any one individual loss is a huge loss.
Why in particular the black rhino of all rhinos? What is it, as I understand, they're after the horn?
They're after the horn in both species. Black rhinos are at a higher risk because there's about 20,000 white rhinos, there's about 2,400 blacks. So there's a proportionally higher rate of loss.
All right, I want to continue to talk, but as you do, I also want to mention to folks that we have some of the video of what happens during the poaching, and some people might find it a little difficult to watch. We wanted to warn them before we get to that video. But continue on. So they're hunting both species essentially. It's just that the black rhino, there aren't very many of them.
Correct. So there is a market for rhino horn in Asia, and for reasons that are hard to explain and hard to understand, but that market exists, and it's probably been exacerbated by recent wealth as well.
Is it? I heard it was kind of a myth of some healing powers or something like that?
Yes, and rhino horn has been used in daggers in the Middle East. There's also, it has purported health value in Asian countries. Vietnam and China are markets in trafficking rhino horn. There's no evidence that this is true, but the market remains. And so it's a hard thing for someone in the Bay Area to combat that. You're not going to probably be in the situation where you're going to be in Asia, where you're going to have the opportunity to buy something like this. But it's really important for individuals to think about not engaging in any sort of wildlife trade, not buying any wildlife parts.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is probably the most practical thing that can be done, and obviously one on the consumer end, not to do anything that involves buying rhino parts, but can that message be spread around the world about conservation? Are there efforts underway in South Africa to try to protect them better?
There are numerous organizations doing in situ work in the field. They have a very tough battle ahead of them. People are putting their lives on the line to protect these animals. They do need international support.
Mm-hmm. And I would assume that gets back to the ones that are in captivity, because if the ones in the wild can't survive or don't survive, then what we have in captivity is all we've got left.
Is all we have left. There's about between 60 and 70 black rhinos in North America, so it's not many animals. We're fortunate to even have a few in the Bay Area. Our animals are ambassadors, and the loss of Gene was a huge loss for us because he was a great ambassador, a really nice animal. He did really well with tours. He really was a great showcase for his species. So our animals are here for visitors to be aware of how powerful and beautiful these animals are.
And what the loss is.
And what the loss is.
Exactly.
They're irreplaceable.
All right, very good. David, thank you so much for coming by and giving us a little perspective on that. And again, condolences on Gene. Good luck on trying to get another one that we can keep safe.